All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings podcast. Today, we're here. I said it. It was happening. We got Jake on the pod. He's here today. I'll let him introduce himself to you guys, but it's a pleasure to have you here, dude. Now it's fun to I can actually chop it up with somebody rather than me just talking to nobody like I normally do.
Yeah,
What's going
right.
on, man?
Not much, man. It's going well. Just a nice casual Wednesday, right?
Hell
Middle of
yeah,
the
bro.
week. I've
That's
been
all it
looking
is.
forward to this though, man. So
Yeah, well, I know I announced it like last Wednesday, I think, when I did that episode, like the first one back, and I was like, I think we should, and then obviously we probably could have done it, got it going a little bit quicker, but I was like, we should just take our time with it. It'd be easier that way than just forcing it.
yeah, there's
So
no rush. You got me all the equipment and everything.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, we could have probably done it faster. We probably could have got it going quicker, but like, I'd rather you have the quality equipment rather than like talking into just like a pair of headphones. It doesn't sound as good. Like now you sound crisp. You got that pod mic. Yeah. Next, we just got to get you some studio headphones so you don't have the gamer headset.
yeah, but come on. I think people respect the gamer
Hey,
headphones.
My first couple. If you look at them, I had my I had the gamer headset too. Had to. That's the way to do it, right? But yeah. So we got some stuff lined up today. Obviously, the season is technically started, even though like technically opening day is not till the 27th, which is next Thursday. But they're playing out in Tokyo. And I know Jake didn't say he let me know, first of all, he didn't watch them, which I didn't watch them much either. I saw highlights. I watched the highlights because I'm not waking up 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the Dodgers because I can't stand the Dodgers. I don't mind the Cubs. I don't mind the Cubs as much, but you're not getting me up at 5 to watch the Dodgers play. You're out of your mind. Not going to happen.
See, I don't mind the Dodgers because I'm a huge Freddie Freeman fan.
I
Getting
don't
up at
mind
5
Freddie.
a.m. Yeah.
I don't mind Freddie. It's just, and you know what? It's not even that I don't like. It's hard. It's hard because I think that they're just such they're like an enigma. Like, especially the way they behaved last year. I was not a fan of that. When they won it, I was kind of like, you guys are really arrogant. A little too arrogant for me.
Yeah, but I think every major team that I've seen with like some sort of groundbreaking championship, and I'm not saying that their championship last year was groundbreaking. It's kind of expected at this point, right?
Yeah, it was.
All of them have a
Used to that
unique,
much.
unique culture, unique personality. I always go to like my best example, the 2004 Red Sox. Just like you look at all the phrases they had, bunch of idiots,
Yeah.
right? Cowboy up in
True.
2003.
That's true.
Like
Yeah, that's true.
you gotta have an edge in this game because when you get to the playoffs, even if you're the best on paper, there is zero guarantee you're going to make it past the first round, right?
Yeah,
And that's what's so
I feel
unique
that.
about baseball. Like you go watch basketball, football, usually it's pretty common that the number 1 or number 2 seed goes pretty far. But in baseball, year
That's
after
fair.
year, it doesn't always happen.
That's fair. So, I mean, I was actually talking to Hannah about this. Like, did you feel, and I know like you didn't watch it, but like you have to feel this, right? They go to Tokyo, right? So they each played one Tokyo team. I think the Cubs played the Giants, I think what they're called over there. Then they're in their league and they actually lost. They lost to them, which is kind of embarrassing. I mean,
Bullpen
the other
game,
thing
though.
is like, right. They're all being kind of treated, which is funny that they're counting them as like games, but like they're still kind of being treated like spring training games. Like I think like I was looking at the pitching
From a manager
Yamamoto went
standpoint, right?
right. Well,
Yeah.
Yamamoto went 5 and Imanaga went 4. I guess starters were getting a little bit more length, but like everybody else was like 1-1-1-1, 2.5, 2 and 2/3, 1 1 1/3, and then 1. I mean, well, maybe it's kind of treated like a game. But my thing was like, you go over there, dude, and like I was seeing the highlights, like everyone is decked out in Dodger shit. It's like I feel like the Dodgers. It was like a home game for the Dodgers, honestly. In all honesty, and you have to know why. It's because of Shohei. Duh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And now you add in Roki Sasaki and Yamamoto, right? I mean, it's the I have great respect for MLB and the commissioner's office this year for trying to, and I don't think it was this year, it's probably planned in advance, right? But the marketing aspect of this, like you look at the ratings in I can't remember which game it was. It was when Yamamoto started. The ratings for Japan last year in the playoffs when he started were way up.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I
So
mean, baseball's big over there, though. I mean, that's not new. I mean, we've all known that.
is it?
But
I don't have this information, but is it safe to say it's their number 1 sport from a viewership standpoint?
that's what they're saying. That's what they were saying today. No bullshit. I'm not even making that up. Literally, that's what they were saying today. That's like their sport. In fact, I don't think there's much. I mean, baseball's their thing. I mean, they're not like they go down to Mexico, like the Latin American countries, like soccer's huge, but baseball's also big. But soccer's like really up there. Even in like the UK, soccer's huge.
Yeah.
But like
But you
Japan
have
is
some
basically baseball.
competition between
Right,
viewership.
right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. But anyway, so the game, I was a little like you took the Cubs up there, and like obviously MLB has done Japan before. This is not a new like experiment. They've been to Japan. I think they went in 2000, and like even earlier than that. But like they sent the Cubs. Like you're sending like the powerhouse team against the Cubs. Like no disrespect to the Cubs, dude, but like two different caliber ball clubs there, in my opinion.
I think there's a couple bullet points there, right? You look at the roster for the Cubs. Name another team that has more Japanese players on it than the Cubs. It's Dodgers number one,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. That's true.
It's got to be
I
a
guess
National
from
League.
that standpoint, yeah, that's fair. I
Yeah,
didn't think
it's
about that.
got to be a National League matchup. So you go with the Cubs, and also it might be a nice little starter for the Dodgers. I mean, if you're a business person, you kind of want the Dodgers to win that game, right? At least win the series.
Well, yeah, which they did.
So yeah, they already won the series, whether they win or lose tomorrow, right?
I think they're done. I think they're done.
Oh, it's only 2 games?
Yesterday and today. Yeah, yesterday and today because they're coming back, if I'm not mistaken.
There you go. I think it made sense. You have Imanaga, and then who's the
Suzuki.
There you go.
He DH'd. He DH'd today. I don't know about yesterday, but he DH'd today. And yeah, that's it. I think that's it. That's all they have technically. Just
so,
like from that heritage.
Think about that. Across 2 games, you have 5 Japanese-born players on the field pretty much the whole game, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I can't argue that. I was just kind of like, man, that's not even they kept it pretty close. It was 6-3 and then 4-1. So, I mean, it wasn't like an absolute blowout or anything, but I don't know. The Cubs have a lot, and obviously that's something we'll probably talk about later. The Cubs, I feel like the Cubs have a lot of potential, but they've never actually like been able to put it together. Like Carl Armstrong's great, Swanson's great, Shaw made his debut.
Tucker,
they got Kyle Tucker. They got Kyle Tucker over the offseason. So I don't know. That's going to be something that we can talk about. And then the Dodgers are the fucking Dodgers, dude. The lineup, dude. Like Ohtani, Edman, Hernandez, Smith, Muncy, Hernandez again, Kike, and then you have Teoscar, Conforto, Miguel Rojas, because Mookie is sick, apparently. I'm sure he ate something and probably couldn't handle it up there. Did you hear about that?
I did not
hear about that.
He
got sick like the second day in. Yeah, he didn't play. They sent him home.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm thinking it was something related because he said he was sick. He lost 15 pounds, dude. Like he lost 15 pounds in like the span of like 48 hours. So they say. I don't know how true that is. That was like the rumor going around. 15 pounds. So I'm assuming he ate something and they sent him home. Like he was there for like a day, like a day and a half, and they sent him home.
Not to get into logistics of travel, but don't you have to take a bunch of different shots going over to certain places? I don't know if you have to for Japan, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know they were cooking them some raw stuff. I don't know. There was a whole thing. Like they were cooking for him and doing stuff, so who knows. But so Mookie didn't play at all. So Rojas played short, and then you had Pages in the outfield. That lineup alone, dude. And of course, Shohei hit a bomb. Of course.
And Freddie didn't play today, which is surprising.
No, Freddie was hurt. Freddie had a rib deal he was working with, a rib contusion or something like that. Which is why I think no. Crazy. All right. We'll move on from the Tokyo series. We talked about that for a bit, but exciting that baseball's back, right?
Yes.
Now, the other thing I got is, I know, and you talked about it on Sunday, and I'm still baffled. I mean, I am baffled. In fact, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look up Rodon's stats because they make me want to throw up.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was announced that Rodon is going to be the Yankees opening day starter. Obviously, Garrett Cole is down with Tommy John, so he's not going to pitch at all this year. And you were shocked. I was a Yankee fan, and I tried not to talk about the Yankees too much, but I'm as shocked as you are that they chose fucking Carlos Rodon over Max Fried, dude. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I said it really well to you, whether it was over text or we were talking in the dugout. Usually you go with like a tenure argument, right? But there's really not a tenure argument for me for Rodon.
No, he's only been there since 23.
Yeah, you count it as 1.5 seasons because he was hurt for half of the first season he was there, right?
Right.
And I think he's got a total of 239, if I'm remembering correctly, 239 innings in a Yankees uniform. You look at that.
I won't do the math for you, but it was 64 and a third in 23, and then 175 last year.
Close, yeah. So 100, I think 239 is pretty much, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, as a manager, I'm sorry, 239 innings, if that's the right number, is not enough for me to say, hey, I'm giving it to you just because of tenure, right?
I
And
don't
you've
get that,
been
bro.
here.
And they're both lefties.
Yeah.
And Max
Like,
Fried is the highest paid lefty in baseball as of his contract.
yeah. So then you bring that up, you take away the money argument too. Like, oh, well, he's getting paid the money, we're going to put him out there. That argument's been around for a while, but here it is. Max is the one that's getting the money.
Right?
So
I don't get it. I mean, shit, bro. In 23, he went 3-8 with a 6.85 ERA. So already not good. They paid him off of 21 and 22. In 21, he had a 2.37. In 22, he had a 2.88, that's good. It's great. But dude, he's nowhere near those numbers. Like I said, 23, he was a 6.85. 24, he was a 3.96, which cut it in half pretty much. But still, for what they're paying him in 175 innings to be your number one guy, basically, is what they're saying. Like, he's our guy. That's not. Stroman had a 2.8. No, Stroman had like a lower ERA than that. Take away all the stuff they talked about with Stroman all offseason, dude. But
and the
better than
drama
that.
there now.
I think we played it out, bro. I think that obviously, like, from a business standpoint, I wouldn't have been mad. I know you're trying to deal me. I didn't have a great year, whatever. Like, obviously, from a business standpoint, and Stroman already cleared it, but still at the same time, glad they didn't trade him because they freaking need him at this point. But anyway, I just this whole thing, I just don't get it, bro. I don't get it. And like spring this year, his spring stats, he has a 10.13 ERA.
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back to it all goes back to a manager that's been there for a long time, and in my opinion, has been there too long. But we don't have to get into that.
Tough
and he's going with the horse that he's used to instead of the horse that's brand new, right?
But it's Max Fried, bro.
Exactly.
He's shown he's elite year after year.
I would argue last 4 years, you talk about best lefties in baseball. You could talk about, Chris Sale had a dominant year last year, right? Ranger Suarez had a really good last 2 years. But consistency wise, Max Fried should be probably your number one. And if he's not in your top 3 consistency wise as like best lefty in baseball, I don't know what you're watching then.
I mean, at best lefty, I'd probably go with, Sale. Sale's been really, Sale out of nowhere. He's probably a little bit better than Fried. But Fried this year is a 2.53 in the spring training. He's 1-0, 2.53. Started 3 games. He's got 10 innings, almost the same as Rodon. More than half the ERA, 8 strikeouts, and his WHIP is 0.56.
Yeah, but don't fall for the trap of spring training stats. Never fall for the trap.
I know. But dude, a 10 ERA in spring, that's no fluke, bro. That's sad. That's not even.
But I want you to put yourself in his shoes. And this is me defending Rodon's stats, unfortunately. But put yourself in his shoes. What if you're working on something, right? Like you're working on a new pitch, or tweaking an arm delivery, whatever it may be, right? There's a lot that can happen.
I hear you, but Jake, we're a week away.
Yes, you're not wrong about that.
We're past the I'm tweaking, or maybe, and I know because I've talked to guys, I know dudes that play in the league. Like there will be starts where they're like your fastball changeup today, your fastball curveball today, which obviously hitters are going to be like, he's got 2 today. It's not like going to be a big secret. So they're really just working on placing it, and like if it gets hit, it gets hit. They don't care. But dude, we're a week away. We're past the 2 pitches. We're past the 1 pitch days.
Who do they play opening day?
The Yankees. I don't know. Yankees. Let's see. I can find out for you. I think they have the Brewers. No, it's just loading up. Oh, we're frozen. No, there we are.
It shouldn't be a National League team, right? It should be an American League team.
Opening day, so they don't play. Oh, this is April. Why are you showing me April? Opening day, they've got the Brewers.
Brewers. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interleague matchup opening day for the Yanks.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I'm not sure about that. That's kind of strange.
I'm going to tell you this. Hot take, and I don't even know which stadium they're playing at. I bet you Rodon.
Yankee Stadium.
Okay, I bet you Rodon gives you 5 innings, less than 2 runs. I bet you he gives you close to a quality start.
I'm hoping. I mean, as a Yankee fan, I hope, but I can't. I've just learned to not hang anything on Carlos Rodon, especially after his playoff outings. Did you ever see that? Did you see the outing where he was 1-2-3 and then came out acting like a jackass and then got his shit kicked in? Like,
yes.
The next inning. Yeah, I can't. Yeah. I can't do it. He's too much.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you make a statement by starting Fried, especially as Aaron Boone. Like this year, to me, it's a win or go home year for the Yankees. Like, where do you go from here? If you don't at least get back to the World Series, what as a business, what decisions do you have to make? I think number one, Aaron Boone's gone, right? Number
I think
two,
they're going to extend him further, bro. I think they did. Did they not? I think they extended him like the next 3 years.
oh
If I'm not
God.
mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
See, for everybody listening and watching, that's one of those things where like I can't remember everything. If they extended him, I'm shocked. But
I don't know. I really did personally don't think he's that bad. I think there's some stuff that I see where I'm like maybe questionable, but I don't know. But we'll get off the Yankees. We've been on the Yankees for a minute. We'll move on to the other side of the Northeast with this whole Devers and Bregman thing. That was another hot topic, which obviously I don't know if you know, Devers hasn't played at all, any position. First, everyone thought it was, the whole thing with Bregman. They signed Bregman, Bregman was a shortstop in college, played a little bit of second base as he was coming up, and then obviously for the Astros needs moved to third, and he's been a third baseman his entire tenure in the big leagues. They signed him, I guess, with the intent of him playing third, and Devers is getting up in age. There's an open DH spot. How do you feel about that?
yeah, I think obviously on paper I would go with Bregman at third. It's the best decision for your team, right?
Not even best decision, and that not even like, even if you take in the current situation, like whether Devers is being a bitch and just like upset, butthurt, or the fact that he's injured, which people are saying he's not butthurt. There's no, because everyone's been saying there's no bad blood between him and the Red Sox. That's what everyone chalked it up to be, and apparently that's not it. That he's still taking reps on the lower fields, but I don't think that should be true. I think that they're hiding an injury that he has, to be 100% honest with you, and he doesn't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, I always go to, you'll never know what's going on in a clubhouse, right? There's so much.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of decisions that teams make that you'd be shocked at as an average viewer, average fan. But in this case, so like I agree on paper, it's got to be Bregman. But when this whole situation first arose, I was actually in Devers' corner that as a manager, as a general manager, even you decided to put your money into Devers long term.
Yeah.
It was a 10-year deal, right? So he's going to be there a long time.
But did they put that money into him as a fielder, or did they put it, because he's obviously a menace at the plate? Did they put it into him knowing that he's already getting up in age and that they were going to eventually move him into that DH role? That's the question.
And for all we know, I think most players these days are getting signed to these deals. Eventually, they're going to become a DH. There's a lot less animosity on this whole I'm paying X amount for a DH. Look at Shohei Ohtani, right? It's going to happen for Soto too eventually. Eventually, there's going to come that reckoning where it's like, hey, yeah, you're a DH, and that's okay. We're paying you all this money just to hit. Unfortunately, what they're paying for anyways, legitimately. Yeah. And I know we're going to talk about shortstops later. That's where it's it's very different, right?
So just for shits and giggles on the conversation, you've got on their depth chart, you've got apparently Christian Campbell. I have no idea who that is. That's their one at second. Bregman's
and they like him a lot, apparently.
With Vaughn Grissom, we have Vaughn Grissom as well, who's also in the minors. He's not on the 40-man, which he used to be pretty good. I don't know what happened there. That's rough.
I think that's one of those examples, just guy could never figure it out at the big league level and put it together. Look, he may flashes of it, but you got to understand, you got to be able to put it together day after day after day.
All the way through. Yeah. So they got, I would think that if it was causing that much of a rift, again, quotations, you don't know for sure, right? You would throw Bregman at second and just let Devers have third. I've thought that, and even then, that alone right there is still a stellar infield.
Yeah, and I agree. I think what I was trying to hint at earlier is, I put my money into this guy. If you sign that contract, someone's got to do some sort of analysis on the person, not just on the stats, right? Like you're deciding to get into bed with that person for the next 10 years, right? It's like I don't go propose to somebody if I'm not absolutely certain,
You're
right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So unfortunately, Bregman's only there for 2 years, right? 2 or 3. It was a short
2 years, I think it was.
Yeah,
it was a really, 1 year. I think no, it might have been. Or was Walker Buehler the one that signed the 1 year?
Walker was the 1 year. Bregman had 2 or 3. I'd have to look at it. Okay. But so you take that cost return. How much do you really lose having Devers at third and over Bregman? Right? Like I don't think
Bregman's
you lose
3 years, 120.
There you go. So 3 years, right? I don't think you lose that much if it's that big of a deal to your superstar, the guy that you're in bed with for the next 8. You make him happy, unfortunately.
That's true. Yeah. So this Christian guy, I've never heard of this guy. Obviously, he's 22. He was drafted in 23 in the 4th compensation round, which is one of those little weird rounds that they have in between. This year in spring, he's got 38 at bats, 6 hits, 6 runs. He's batting $158. I haven't heard shit about this dude, and maybe that's just like maybe there's a glitch or something. Maybe he's not the guy. Looks like he's the guy. Looks like he's the guy. I've never heard anything on this guy.
That's with Devers being hurt. If he's hurt opening day, Campbell's your second baseman,
and Devers is your DH, which is interesting. Trevor Story, I've kind of forgot about him, but he's their shortstop. He's their guy.
Yep. And
honestly, dude, they're fucking stacked, bro.
They're dangerous, but they're a glass cannon. That's the problem. You ever heard of that phrase?
Yeah, I agree. They got Lucas Giolito, Brian. I'm talking pitching, like they're 5 starters. Garrett Crochet, Tanner Hoke, Walker Buehler. I don't know this Brian Bello, which I think he was okay last year. And then Giolito, obviously solid. And then their bullpen, they have Liam Hendricks, which is off and on. They did get Chapman. They got Chapman, Adam Ottavino, which is an old vet, and then some other guys.
Brian Bello has a chance to have a really big year, though. So
yeah. They got a lot of bubble guys in that bullpen on the minors that may start out in AAA, to be honest with you. But still, that starting rotation is nasty.
Yeah, the Red Sox are a scary... And so it's funny, we were talking about the Cubs earlier, because I find these two organizations eerily similar, right? They have a unique market. When they're hot, they can expand across the nation. Like you'll start to see Red Sox hats everywhere. Remember Red Sox Nation? And then Cubs hats everywhere when they broke the curse.
In 16.
Without the curse, what's their identity now, though? Right? Both of them lost that. And it's kind of...
Well, didn't they win it pretty recently? It was kind of in the heat of that scandal with the trash cans, right? They won it.
Yeah, in 18. It was 18.
18. That's what it was. 18. Yeah.
Yep.
With
was
Cora.
Yeah,
Cora's first year.
Yep, and it was Mookie's, not his last year. Or was it his last year? It was one of his last.
I think he got dealt at the deadline the next year.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
So, I mean, their identity is a little different now without these curses, right? And I know the Red Sox curse now is 20 years ago, and the Cubs we're almost coming up on 10. But it's been very interesting seeing those organizations without the curse hanging over them, and like I said, unique markets. The Red Sox have the potential to really surprise people this year, but that glass cannon argument, how healthy can they stay?
I think that they might be the Achilles heel of the Yankees, bro, in the playoffs. To be 100% honest with you, that's going to be a tough road to cross.
If you put both those teams up against each other healthy or healthy-ish, right? I think the edge, and again, the edge would go to the Red Sox for me.
The Yankees have too many injuries and they're too inconsistent, to be honest with you. It hurts my heart, but whatever.
They play big shot baseball. The Red Sox, especially at Fenway, right? You play games there, it's going to be a very different story. And that might be a very difficult start for someone like Max Fried, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for any of their starters, bro. Because honestly, if you look at it last year, like the Red Sox were nowhere to be found. Didn't qualify for the playoffs at all. That this year or the year prior, right? And was it the last 2 years they didn't make the playoffs. But they had a lot of injuries as well. But if you look at the people that the Yankees had to get to get to the World Series last year, the Royals,
easiest path. It was the easiest
Royals,
path.
The Guardians. Come on,
yeah.
Bro. And they almost lost to the Guardians, dude. They almost fumbled that.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's the beauty of baseball. When you get hot, you get hot. The Guardians came in hot, on a high. It was competitive, but I still think if you go rewatch that series, you'll see like the Yankees pretty much had them the whole way through.
No, they did. Yeah, they did. There was just some small pieces where you're kind of like, oh shit. Like, I don't know
the small flaws that ended up being really exposed against a good team in the Dodgers, right?
Oh, dude, we're not going to talk about it.
We don't have to.
You know what's sad is that for like months on end, because when I work, I have a big TV here and I watch MLB, and they would replay Game 5, bro. I swear to God, every day, every day, and it was just like, I almost had it to a T. Like, here goes. There's the drop pop fly, the fumble ground ball at short. And it just like the miscue between Rizzo and Cole over and over and over. I could just like watch it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is like
Yeah.
Is
this my existence now? Live this eternity day after
literally,
day.
bro. I think that's like nightmare fuel. But
hey, but what's the phrase in baseball? There's always next year, and next year's here. So
I don't know, bro. Like the Yankees' time is low key ticking. I really think so. I think their time is there. There will be a point where there just will be like, there's no next year. We have to wait another 5 years.
that's why I told you that earlier. And I know you said we've talked a lot about the Yankees, but I really don't mind because they're a hot topic.
They're a hot topic. Yeah, they have to be. Them
Yeah.
and the Dodgers are the hottest topic you can talk about in baseball right now.
If you don't win it all this year, I mean, your line of sight is getting smaller every day. Number one. Number two, where do you go? Where do you go from there?
I mean, you're the fucking Yankees, right? But enough about the Yankees. Heard me. And then one for you, dude, because you're a Braves fan, right? Kimbrel signed a minor league contract, which Kimbrel has been. It's kind of like hurt to watch, bro. Craig Kimbrel these last couple of years. Like I don't know what happened. He's always been wild, right? He's always been kind of like that wild card. But like his tenure with the Phillies was not good. It was scary. His tenure with Baltimore was also, which I don't know which one came. I think Baltimore was first. Then he got.
It was Phillies first, then Baltimore. He was on Baltimore last year.
Yeah. I mean, dude, he was just like.
He had some good moments with Philly, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just getting up there, bro. Like his tenure is like slowly, I think, coming to a halt, in my personal opinion. But that was news everywhere. Everyone was super excited. I think a lot of Braves fans were excited to see that he's kind of back, which is a chance that he might make it back up. Obviously, it's a minor league contract, but I mean, last year, 5.33, bro, with 57 appearances, he didn't even save half. He was less than 50% on saves, bro.
Yeah. His ERA was in the fives too, right? I think you said that.
His ERA was a 5.33.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he's still got a phenomenal career. I mean, he might just want to call it. He might make it to the Hall, dude, because 2.59 ERA with 440 saves.
Well, so what luck to come up with the Atlanta Braves, and that they are one of the teams that has if healthy, a clear line of sight at the World Series road.
Yeah,
right?
No, they do. They do.
There could be some magic there. How many times have we seen a guy say, "This is it," and they just empty the chamber, right? Empty the tank on that last season.
Chris Sale, I thought was done, bro. I thought he was washed. I went to go actually watch him play when he was in Boston that last year. He pitched the last game of the season. I saw him. I was like, and I was funny because we were sitting with Hannah's parents and her dad was like asking me questions and I was like, this guy's washed. I was talking so much shit, bro. I was talking so much shit because he was like, oh, who are the guys pitching? I was like, it's the last game of the year. You see a lot of minor league guys getting pulled up from Boston, like guys that I had no. I was like, obviously you got Devers on the field store. All those guys were playing, and then all of a sudden, like in all the outfield would complete minor leaguers because they're just pulling guys up for the end of the year. And Sale was pitching, and I was like, this guy's fucking washed. I was like, this dude's washed. He's washed. And then he goes to I saw he got traded to Atlanta, and I was like, what could he possibly do? And then comes out and just is like Cy Young contender type shit. And I was like, what the hell happened? So you guys either do magic up there, or you've got a phenomenal pitching coach. One of the two. I don't know.
I think it's a mix of everything that you have, in my opinion, the best organization. If we're talking top to bottom in baseball, it's got to be, if you're not saying the Atlanta Braves or the Houston Astros, I mean, I'm sure there's some other arguments out there. There's some teams that are really showing some signs of that, but yeah, the Braves and the Astros have been dominant in that aspect. I'm talking single A scout, right? Down all the way up to the top. It's just through and through really special. And so I think they're really good at seeing what you were talking about. He did not look good. And someone said, let's get him over here and let's see what I can do with that. And the allure of,
he was with the Dodgers.
What?
he was with the Dodgers too.
Yeah. But it's that allure, right? Like the Braves every year right now have a line of sight. What's the Braves goal? If I was to ask you, you're not a Braves fan, right? But you know baseball.
I mean, I'd say at least compete, at least make it to a championship series. At least that's what I would think. Maybe not World Series, that's pretty high, but at least a division, at least make it to the division and potentially a championship series. So World Series is just cherry on top.
Outside looking in, that's your thought, right? If you go watch Behind the Braves or some of their spring training stuff and Brian Snitker's speeches, their goal is World Series or bust, because they feel like 23 and 24, or no, 22 and 23 were such huge missed opportunities, especially 23. You had one of the greatest offenses of all time and they did
Damn.
nothing in the playoffs.
That's
right?
true. That is true. That is true. They shit themselves. I remember that. Which
Yeah.
was even as a baseball fan, like knowing, like I do the research every time I watch a game. I'm checking boxes. I'm looking at lineups. Like their lineup was good, dude.
Yeah.
And they just literally shit down their leg and just didn't make it happen. It's just sad to see, man, because they're a strong team.
Baseball is a wild ride, man. You can be
Dude.
dominant for months and then just hit that big moment and it all goes away.
Yeah, dude.
But Craig
Do you
Kimbrell,
expect to see him in the big leagues this year? Do you think?
I think so. It would be shocking if he doesn't. It would have to go really bad for him.
I mean, it
And I'm
hasn't been going
talking,
good for him though.
yeah, but here's the thing: when you
I
put,
mean, he's 36. He's 36. Oh,
yeah, when you put someone like Craig Kimbrell, an elite player that he has over 400 saves. Which how many guys have over 400 saves in the history of Major League Baseball? Right?
not very many.
Yeah.
Not very
So
many.
when you put a guy like that with elite numbers, elite history, elite stuff, and I know this stuff maybe not as much elite now, but he's going to find a way with the team that the Braves have and the openings that they have. He'll find a way there. They'll kind of make that happen. Like I said, it would take something catastrophic like an injury, or he just cannot do it at the lower levels where they're going to place him. But he'll find a way, I think. And it might be
I
magical.
think
Brian
that's fair.
McCann's last year with the Braves was magical.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was.
So Big Poppy's last year
And
with the Red Sox was magical. I mean,
that's a big name to throw in the same conversation as Craig Kimbrell, though. I got to be honest. That's a stretch. It's a stretch. All right. So now we'll talk. We had to talk about this. We got 2 more topics for the day. We're approaching the time, right? So we got 2 more topics, right? The one that honestly I hadn't thought about, which is what JT brought up, the top shortstops in the game. I hadn't even thought about it. And then I was like baffled because I was like, holy shit, I don't even know who the top shortstops in the game are at the moment.
it's weird, right? You watch so much baseball and you're like, I can't think of number 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, the only name that came to mind when I was reading it was like Bobby Witt, and then Lindor, and then you brought up Correa, which I just can't stand Correa. But so the top 9, I'll just read them off and we can kind of go to your top 3.
Yeah, where's
So
this
right
top
now,
9 from? Shredder or
this is compiled from Google.
Okay.
It's giving me what Google's AI, the top shortstop. I don't think this is in any particular order. It's just giving me the top 9, which I think some of this is bullshit because Bo Bichette's on this list.
Don't trust the AI Google yet. I'm telling you.
But the top, this 9, and obviously the order is to be determined, right? So Dansby Swanson's at the bottom. Then it goes Gunnar Henderson, which I think he's pretty solid. Trey Turner, Adames, which Adames got paid, which he had a great 2-3 and a great 2-4, and then he obviously got paid. Not bad. Corey Seager, Buck and Correa, Bo Bichette, Bobby Witt Jr., and Francisco Lindor.
I think that's a solid 9. Like if you were gonna pick 9 out of the 30, yeah, that's a solid one. I don't disagree with any of those names, except like you brought up Bo Bichette, but I think Bo Bichette, it's a contract year. He might be in a different uniform at the trade deadline.
Well, I think they tried to trade him last year. But okay, so now that you have that, now here's what MLB says, and I'll just give you the top 5 for MLB.
Okay.
Which are number 5, I don't know, is a little bit of a stretch. 5 is Mookie.
They have to put him up there. Marketing, everything, business.
Fair. Okay, so 5. I think 4, Bobby Witt Jr. is at 4. I think that's a little underrated. I think. Okay. 3, Lindor. 2 is Corey Seager. Where is Corey Seager? Corey Seager makes no noise, bro. He's kind of like that guy that just kind of quietly goes to work.
Very similar to Mike Trout. It's so hard to market him. Hard to market him.
And then 1 is Gunnar Henderson, obviously. I think Witt should be 2, and I think Corey Seager should drop to 4. Lindor is good at 3, and I think Henderson is a stud, dude. Henderson should be 1. I agree wholeheartedly. If he hits for power like he has been the last 2 years, and then plays infield like he does, he's a stud through and through. I think can really argue with that.
After the year last year, you put Bobby Witt at 1 and just call it a day. It's easy, right?
True.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough. And he's super marketable, bro. Everyone loves him. Loves him. Texas guy. Everyone loves him.
And on a low market team that made the playoffs out, despite my criticism of the AL Central, and that's the reason I believe there was teams that didn't really belong there last year. But seeing him in the playoffs was good for baseball.
What do you think about Dansby Swanson? I know you kind of talked about that earlier. They paid him a lot of money.
Yeah.
Where do you think he's at 6? I'm favored to Dansby because I watched him through high school to Vanderbilt to then the number 1 overall to Arizona, then getting traded to your homeboys up in I was like, he fit so well in Atlanta, which I was kind of bummed that he left that. But I guess y'all didn't want to pay what he wanted. I don't think I think he's kind of not the greatest at the plate, but he's a defensive specialist all the way through.
Yes.
That's kind of how I see him. 100%.
So that's when you ask me that question, that's what I get to first is where, if you were to think about shortstops, just the glove, just the defensive side of the ball, who do you think is the best shortstop in baseball defensively?
Defensively?
Mm-hmm. Give me your top three.
Lindor's good, bro.
Yeah.
Lindor, I think it would have to be Lindor at 1. It's hard, dude, because I think Bobby Witt's a better hitter than he is infielder. He's a great athlete, but I think he's a better hitter. Henderson, the same thing. I think I'd put Henderson at like 4, so I'd put Lindor at 2, and then Witt at 3. That's how I would put it.
Yeah,
honestly, because Swanson is a great, but if you're talking about overall defensively, only Swanson's 1 all the way through.
And so I'm glad you said that because that's how I feel, right? Is like defensively, if we're just taking the glove, forget about hitting, forget about anything at the plate. Like Dansby makes all the plays that you want him to make, all of them,
and more,
and he still makes more. Now, can he make some of the plays that like, you know, a Bobby Witt or a Gunnar Henderson can make on their best day, like a miraculous play? Probably not, but the consistency is different, right?
Yeah.
And so, I would go Dansby 1. And if we're talking like top 5 defense, you know, people are going to scoff at this. I even throw someone like Orlando Arcia in there defensively, but you don't want that guy at the plate day after day, right? Like
almost an automatic out, dude. It's like an automatic out.
It's such a unique position that defense, like you can have a guy like Orlando Arcia be your everyday shortstop because of the value he brings defensively, but you better have 7 guys around him, 8 guys around him in the lineup to protect him.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, Swanson's like a career. He's like an 8-hole guy, 7-8-hole guy, because he still can do damage.
Yes, but that's what surprises me, right? Is like we talk about the money aspect. It was 186, if I remember correctly, $186 million that the Cubs paid him. And I know you're looking it up. So
a 7-year, $177 million. That was in 22. So he signed through the 2029 year.
Close, yeah. But that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money
for arguably a 250 hitter, right? And
he's got a lot of swag behind him, bro. Like people like him. Kids like to watch him.
I like him too. I think he's very, you know, he would have been perfect in 90s baseball. He is like
he would.
Yeah, quintessential late 90s type shortstop vibe, right? He is, and I would love to, if you had put me in charge of any team, I would love to have him as my shortstop. But would I love to have him for 7 years, 180 million? I don't know.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
And then for shits and giggles, MLB has, you know, we talked about top 5, Dansby 6, Correa's 7, Ellie is at 8, Adames is at 9, and then Trey Turner's at 10. Can't really argue with those. You know, I still think Carlos Correa is overrated, bro. I'm being 100% honest with you. I can't let that leave.
Pull up his stats last year at the plate. God. Yeah. And you're going to be like, oh, this guy looks great. I think Carlos Correa, there's a lot of animosity around him because of what happened.
Last year he batted 300.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes.
God
told you.
Damn it.
I told you. I was saying this in the dugout on Sunday.
905 OPS, bro. Fuck you.
Chat, give me a +1 right there.
God damn it.
I'm telling you,
you want to hate him. You want to hate him.
Everybody wants to, and a lot of people should. I'm sorry. He did not handle things well back in 2018, 2019.
Bro, like he's a career batting right now. His career 354.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, I mean, I think that's why I was saying in the dugout, I truly believe that this year Carlos Correa has a chance to be a top 4 shortstop, maybe even top 3. If he can play, and this was my big if he can play over 140 games. But that's always the big question. Can he play more than 100? Can he even play more than 115 is the big question, right?
Let's see. Games in 2015 he played 99. Damn, bro. Okay, in 2016, 2017, 2018 he played over 100. He played 153 in 2016, and then dude, in 2019 he played 75. Obviously 2020 he only played 58, but that was a shortened year, so we won't count that. 2021 he played 148. 22 he played 136. 2023 he played 135. Last year he only played 86 games.
Yeah,
and so fuck your 388 average, bro. That doesn't count. Okay.
It doesn't count, but it does. Come on. The
yeah,
time
I
he was there, he looked elite, and that's what I'm looking at, right? And and to bring this into the fold, Trevor Story, he worked with a guy named Mike Brumley. Mike Brumley passed away. If y'all didn't hear that story, played at UT, was a hitting coach in Atlanta, started running his own thing. He was working with Trevor Story, and Brumley and I actually spoke at the UT alumni game back in 2024 before the season started.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so he told me he was working really hard with Trevor Story, and Trevor Story wanted to like really, prove everything wrong, right? Like, I got this. I'm going to have a big year. He came out looking great and then got hurt again, right?
Story is injury prone for sure.
Yeah, but is this the year?
Speaking of RC just got rocked. He just got drilled.
Oof. Hopefully nothing terrible.
No, he's going to first. He's fine.
But is this the year that Trevor Story breaks out, stays healthy? Same with Correa. Is this a year where he stays healthy? And
I mean, you're playing in Minnesota. You're not really playing for much, but
in that division, though, dude, it's up for grabs. Everything's up for grabs.
It is up for grabs. I didn't even hold on. What is Correa hitting in spring training? Just for shits and giggles. Damn, 121. A lot of these averages are low, but again, I know they're all working shit out, getting timing, so we won't count that against it. All right. So interesting top shortstops. I mean, that's about where we were on Sunday.
Yeah, honestly. And that's if I can say one more, Ellie is on that list, and he should be, but he also shouldn't be, because that list is going off of his ceiling, and his ceiling is way up there.
Oh, I know. They're hoping that he's the guy.
He's never reached that ceiling. So
he's fast, bro. Steals a lot of bags, but
25 plus errors last year, though.
Yeah. He's also young, bro. He's only been in the league for what? This is his third year?
Yeah, that's all fair, right?
But like full year?
Yeah, but you're ranking someone in the top 8, 10, 9, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Sometimes they go off of, again, like the marketability, the business, and the ceiling. So
I get it.
Do I agree with it? Yes and no. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
All right. Now, we'll do some power rankings. This is what MLB has, and I know you think it's rigged. Sometimes it is a little bit rigged, to be honest with you. But their top 5 teams going into the year, not anything off spring training. We're going strictly off of, they're saying they're going strictly off of moves made in the offseason and how last year panned out and what's going into the year. And I'll say the top 5, and then we'll talk about it. So 5, they've got the Orioles, who was previously at number 7. 4, this is kind of mind-boggling. 4, they have the Mets, who were previously at number 4, so they stay the same. Fuck Mets. 3, they have the Braves, which I told you, the Braves are considered a strong team every year. 3 is the Braves. Phillies are at 2, and the Dodgers are at 1. Where are the Yankees? Holy shit, bro. 8. I think with the Garrett Cole injury, it shot them down because they were previously at 3.
Yeah. Damn. This is tough because if we're going straight on paper, like the who's who, forget the leagues, right? Then it's not a bad list. But for me, more like odds, right? Yankees should be a top 5 because you look at their division, and the Orioles are in the division. The Red Sox looking good. We said that earlier. But you look at the rest of the American League, the power isn't there. The quality of the American League is a lot weaker than the National League.
Yeah.
So,
but dude, I can't say. I know you said the Yankees have to be in there. I know we talked about it. You're like, oh, you can't say that, dude. The Yankees are not the Yankees they were last year. I'm 100. They don't have Heel for at least till June. They don't have DJ LeMahieu, who hasn't really played much in 2 years now. There's no Cole, who carried them quite a bit, even though he missed a good chunk of the season. There's no Giancarlo Stanton. Clark Schmidt is a maybe. He's kind of hurt. They're having to rely on Cookie Carrasco and Marcus Stroman to be their 3 and 4. I mean, dude,
it's rough, and it's easy to get.
It ain't good.
It's easy to get into a mindset because you're a Yankees fan too. Like, oh, the sky is burning, and we're screwed.
And I'm not saying that they're going to be absolutely horrific. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. I just don't think that they're going to be what they were last year.
So, from your perspective, would you say they have just as much potential to win only 80 games as they do to win 90, right? Is that kind of where you're at? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. That's fair. right? But
Yeah.
Back to the list: 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, all
Yeah.
National League East.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
is tough for me to swallow because those teams are going to cannibalize each other. They're all
Mm-hmm.
so good. They're not going to, no one's going to wipe each other, right? Like
Yeah.
if they, I think they get 12 games now this year with the rule changes a few years ago. Everybody plays everybody now. So
What do you
Phillies
think?
and
What do you think about the? What do you think about the Phillies? What do you
I
think about
think
them?
I think this is, I thought last year was their last year to do it.
Dude, that was a bad year, bro. They shit down their fucking leg, dude.
Yeah. I
And
thought,
honestly, I saw them play today against the Yankees. I'm gonna Yankees are not in the conversation. They played what everyone thought. Like even the announcers before the game started, they said this is what looks like the starting lineup for the Phillies. And it was, bro. It was like Turner. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It was the lineup. Like there's no doubt. You know, Real Muto was in there. Turner was in there. Yeah, this was the lineup they had for the game today. Schwarber at 1, Turner, Harper, Bohm, Kepler, Real Muto, Castellanos, Stott, and Brandon Marsh. That's it. That is the lineup, and they did not play well. And I don't know if this is like a hangover from last year because that last series they played, they were nowhere to be found, especially compared to where they were in 23. That was a strong team who the Diamondbacks surprisingly wiped. I don't know how they did that, but they did it. So I don't know. I think that on paper they have a great lineup, but I don't think for some reason they just are not solid. I don't know what it is. I can't put my tongue on it.
their second half of 2024 showed enormous flaws in their ability to hit, right? There's a lot of inconsistency. I mean, if you say those names again out loud to someone who watches a lot of baseball, that's a lot of inconsistent performance names, right? They're names you
True.
all know. We all
Right.
know Schwarber. We all know Turner. We all know Real Muto.
Bryce
But
Harper. I mean, come
yeah,
on.
the
Yeah.
only name in there that I would, say every day is the guy, is him, is Bryce Harper. And the rest of them have a name that has been so marketed at some point in their career that you're like, oh, that guy's got to be great. And then you go look at the numbers recently, and it's kind of like, there's decline. There's clear decline for Schwarber, Turner, Real Muto. The only incline.
I've never thought Castellanos was really that good, bro. I never thought. I think he's okay. He's all right.
He's just a baseball dude.
Okay.
He's just a
Yeah.
dude that loves baseball, right? Like
he's a good clubhouse guy. I guess is the way to put it.
Now they do
Stott,
have.
I think Stott has some projection. I think Bryson Stott's gonna be good. I mean, I think that he's still kind of figuring it out.
I said that last year though. I thought last year was his opportunity. Didn't happen. Hopefully it does this year.
Nobody on that lineup, it was their year. Let's just be honest.
Well, it was almost Alec Boehm's year until that injury that happened.
Well, shit, they wanted to deal him. I thought they were going to get rid of him.
I think there's a lot of animosity between Boehm and the coaches or maybe the other players or the front office.
Well, he had a tough time in Philly for a while. I remember that he was like the one that was saying, "Man, I fucking hate it here." That was him. So I mean,
he got caught on camera.
Yeah, he's got some. I don't think he meshes well in Philly. I think that this might be the last year he's there. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but I think so too. I would have totally agreed with them. It was the best for both of them to him go somewhere else. But at the same time, who are you going to get that's better to play third base?
You can't. And anyone they'd have to give up more if they wanted someone to get third baseman is kind of a scarce area. Yankees don't have a third baseman. They're using Bohm. I mean, the Braves have a solidified third baseman, obviously Austin Riley, but I think that's kind of one of those spots where like
a lot of guys are locked up, or
there's not a lot of equity that they can find teams at least needing a third baseman. Moving on from the Phillies, obviously we can talk about the Phillies all day. They're not like the Yankees. You can talk about the Phillies all day because they have so much potential on paper. What do you think about the Mets? What do you think about the Mets?
I think that's a marketing ranking. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
There's nothing there to prove that they are a solidified top 5 team yet, right?
Here's what their depth chart is. No, I agree. I think that there's a lot of stuff like Clay Holmes has looked phenomenal in the spring. I don't know if you've seen any footage on him. Did he look? I don't know what the Yankees were putting in his food, bro, but he looks a completely different ball player on the other side of New York. They don't have Manaea either.
Yeah,
that's another one.
They lost a lot more than they gained this offseason.
That's what I'm saying, dude. What is with these rankings with these guys?
Yeah, dude? And what's the deal with Pete Alonso? I haven't followed up on that. But like, is he anywhere? Did the Mets even get him back?
They played him the other day.
They did.
He was in the lineup. Me and Hannah were watching the game the other night. Who were they playing? I mean, it wasn't like an exciting game or anything, but like Juan Soto was in the lineup, Lindor was in the lineup, and they actually have Juan Soto then Alonso. So that's how they're batting him, 3-4. Let me see. Let's see Alonso's stats. I mean, he's played quite a bit, bro. 41 at bats. He's batting 220, 717 OPS in the spring.
Yeah, they got him
240
back
last year. 240 lineup last. 240.
Yeah, he didn't have a great year, career, free agent year too, right? Contract year.
Not good. Not good. I don't know what they signed. They never even announced. Did they ever like make a public signing of what Alonso signed
That's
for?
what I'm saying. My brain
I
was
didn't
like,
think I think I missed that.
I felt really dumb for everyone listening and watching that I didn't realize he had been officially signed. But yeah, I
honestly,
feel like
dude, I didn't hear it the other day, and then he was batting for them. Let me see.
It was a big thing in December and January, and then I feel like everything just went dark.
So, he signed for a 2-year, bro. On February 12th. So like right before pitchers and catchers reported, he signed for. I mean, I don't think they wanted anybody to hear about that. Maybe
I was in Colorado, so
yeah. So he signed, but I missed it, bro. I would have saw that. The fuck. So he signed for a $20 million 2-year, and included a $10 million signing bonus. And if he opts in for another one, they'll pay him 24 in 2026. Wait a minute, that can't be right. No, yeah, that's right. What the fuck? I guess if he plays, I guess if they don't deal him, he'll make an extra $4 million on.
So that means
they're gonna get rid of him. Sorry, I misread that. $20 million for 2 years. He got a $10 million signing bonus, and if he plays for the 26th season, they're gonna pay him 24. So he has a great agent. I think, is he a Boris guy?
Yes, to my knowledge.
Just if he plays in 20, I bet you they deal his ass before 2026, bro. They don't want to pay him another 24 million on top of that 20. Fuck that. They're not gonna pay him that. Not at a 240 batting average.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a very you perform well, it's gonna go well type deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
if he plays like last year, I bet they deal his ass.
Yeah.
But nobody wanted him, bro.
They can't afford to deal. They can't afford to deal him though, unless if they are totally out of it at the trade deadline. You're right, but I don't think they'll be totally out of it. They'll be fringe enough at that point. Okay, either they have a magical year and things go really well, and at the trade deadline, the Mets are number 1 or number 2 in the National League East, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're number 3, which they should be, right? And they have that line of sight, they're not going to trade anybody. They're not going to give up. Not on the first year of signing Juan Soto.
Check this out. So their pitching rotation, they got Senga at their 1, Clay Holmes is their 2. They got Minaya at 3, which he's out. They got Montes at their 4, he's out. So then you're relying on David Peterson and Griffin Cannon. I don't know who those. I've heard of David Peterson. Obviously, he was kind of there last year, in and out of that fifth role and then spot start guy. Griffith Canning, I've never heard of him. They lost lefty, plays for the Brewers now. I forgot his name. Doesn't throw very hard, 88 to 90. Name's escaping me. They don't have him, right? Bullpen, they've got Diaz, obviously. Their guy, their closer. Danik, Reed Garrett, Jose Budo, who's there last year. Minter, they took your guy Minter, bro.
They did.
I don't know. And then 3 nobodies. No offense, they're not nobodies, but on paper, don't know who they are. Catcher, they got Francisco Alvarez, who's going to be out 5 to 6 weeks as of 2 weeks ago. So he's not going to really be here for opening day. They're going to rely on some guy named Torrens and Reitz to be their catchers, I guess. And they got 2 nobodies there. At first base, Vientos is a first baseman.
That's the thing. That when Pete Alonso, the whole thing was going down there, they moved Vientos to first base. Yeah, their plan was.
Alonso, yeah.
I
mean,
and now Alonso's just going to DH.
That's weird.
And Nemo in center field, right? Nemo in center field.
Oh well, Nemo's number 3. They got Tyrone Taylor as their 1 guy in center field.
Gotcha.
And then Juan Soto, of course, in right. He's their guy. Starlin Marte and Jesse Winker, obviously options. And then designated hitter, they got Starlin Marte and Winker. Shortstop, obviously, is Lindor. They got Jeff McNeil starting at second base. Fuck that guy.
I'm not a Jeff McNeil fan.
But I don't know, man. I'm looking. They have him at 4, and I'm like, all these guys are like, maybe, maybe. I don't know.
So I just want to say this about last year, right? The Mets. If we look at the 2024 Mets, it took them that pitcher saying that this team sucks and then they had
when he threw the glove, when he threw the glove in the stand.
Yeah. They were in fourth place in the division. They had a team meeting. They started the oh my God thing. It turned into a magical year, right?
It was the McDonald's guy, Grimace.
Yeah, Grimace. So I want you to think about the Mets history, and I'm sorry for all the Mets fans out there, but every time y'all have a good year, it's something miraculous. The miracle Mets, right? And then we go, like the list goes on. There's now last year, oh my God, Mets, right? It's always something. It has to turn into this crazy special year that nobody expected. No one expected the Mets to do that last year, right?
No.
And they did. And now they're ranked in the top 5. I'm not totally disagreeing with it. The potential is there, but there's also holes. And I think there are teams that are more deserving of that spot. Is all I'm saying. Do I think they're a top 10 team? Yes. If you don't have them in a top 10, you're probably who else are you going to put in the top 10, right? If the Mets aren't there.
No, I agree.
But top 5, I feel like there's more deserving teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting. The Mets, it'll be interesting, but I don't know, man. There's going to be a lot of moving parts.
How do we not look at the Mariners, their rotation and their potential, and say that they're not a top? Are they in the top 10?
No. Rangers are 10.
Hey, Rangers could be scary.
Astros are 11.
Rangers could be scary this year, bro.
Could be. Mariners are 17. They're at number 17.
I think the Mariners are way higher than that, but maybe I'm not keeping up with what's going on in spring training.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Like, I think that these are obviously preseason. You can't really give any. I mean, this is like going off of what happened last year. Like, I bet you after week 1, this is completely shifted.
Yeah, as it should be.
It's going to be completely flipped around. It's just going to be all over the place.
Bobby Cox always said it really well, is we don't really look at where we are and what we need to do until June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So June 15th. It's something like that. It's like we don't know what we really have until that time. And so all these teams are going to have to go through that. So what I hate too is like these pre-rankings totally negates the human element, right? Like the Mets, you got a brand new guy coming in there. Is he going to mesh? Is he not going to mesh? You lost some other guys. The Phillies, right? Respect to the Phillies, they had the same exact group as last year. What off-season moves did they make? So if they did that well last year, culture, chemistry, but you're right, could be a hangover thing too. 3 years of deep playoff runs. Braves, right? Like only one new guy really, Profar, right? So I mean, there's something to be said about chemistry and these guys playing together and getting familiar with each other, clubhouse energy. As I said in the beginning of our podcast, each team that's won has something special with their clubhouse and their group, right? Yeah. So we'll see.
We're going to see, man. But yeah, solid first episode. How you feel? How you feel about it? What do you think?
I feel pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Right? I told you, once you start, it's super easy, super chill.
I can be a chatty Cathy. I know that. So
no, you're good. But for everyone listening, thank you so much for listening. Congratulate Jake on his first episode ever. Hopefully many more to come. Be sure to follow us on TikTok. We got a lot of stuff on there. Instagram, YouTube, all that shit everybody knows. Follow, subscribe, all that crap. I'll put Jake's stuff in the bio too, so y'all can follow him. I don't know if he posts a lot of content on there. I don't really post much on my personal, so probably not missing much there. But anyway, man. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. We're gonna try to I got to figure out the schedule with Jake. Maybe try to do 2 a week. We'll try to figure out a schedule there. We can do it. I know Jake's got a lot of shit going on. I'm still coaching. Like my schedule frees up a lot, probably like in May, and then obviously perfect timing for when the season like really heats up. You know, summer ball is like the best, right? So we'll see what's going on, but yeah, man. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll be sure to catch everybody in the next episode.